You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. It is Friday Junior. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Michael Hassler. Welcome, Heat. I hope everyone's doing all right. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Welcome. Sorry about the the little late start there, but we're ready to go. Hello, howdy, howdy, welcome. Okay. All right, folks, let's get started. Definitely have a few things to go through. Folks, before we get started, thank you all for supporting the stream. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. If you want to continue to support the channel, there are many different ways of doing so. Consider liking the stream on YouTube, subscribing on the YouTube channel. It really does help us out. I appreciate it. Join the Discord, folks. This Saturday, we will be playing. Be playing a movie. I completely forgot that this past Saturday was the last Saturday of the month. This Saturday we will do a movie night. So join us on the Discord, folks. It's completely free. So feel free to hang out at any point. Also, check out the Substack, folks. Subscribe. It's completely free. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the merch store and hit !tip to support the channel directly. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Oh man, OBS was acting a little strange there earlier today, but looks like we're okay. All right. Let's get started, folks. Think we should probably I don't know if we saw this video, but might as well start here.
If you think this is a normal way to greet people, do it right now on TV.
Scott,
Why won't you?
All right, so I occasionally like to check in on CNN and cable news just to see what is going on, to see what the masses are absorbing. And I have to say, I am disheartened as to the world generally and also what I'm seeing on CNN. But I'm going to get to 3 different clips here that I came across just today where you have people defending Trump and the administration, and it is so blatantly insane that it doesn't even really require me to say a whole lot. I'm going to start here with Mr. Jennings, who is a CNN regular. This is a panelist who is on defending Trump at every opportunity he gets. And I'm going to discuss this clip, but here they are discussing Elon Musk's salute. And Mr. Jennings, I forgot his first name, which is why I keep calling him Mr. Jennings.
Yeah, so like just to be clear, like I don't know like what discussions there are to be had, right? Like this is kind of like the problem. Because like there's nothing to discuss here, right? Like we all saw what we saw. And anything else is just trying to gaslight. Like any type of downplaying or trying to rationale anything other than what it was is just like a disservice. If you, by some weird, bizarre reason, aren't aware of what you're doing, it's a disservice. Or 2, it's completely dishonest, and you are just gaslighting the public. Okay, everyone saw what we saw. It is on video. Like there's nothing really to discuss, right? Like it's on video. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't an accident. Because he did it twice, so there was some intentionality behind it. So yeah, like there's nothing to discuss here. Echo Wrestle Dragon, welcome. We all saw what we saw. It was a freaking Nazi salute. Correct.
I'll get his first name after the clip. Mr. Jennings here is defending Elon Musk, even though it is so obvious he knows what happened.
This salute trutherism is outrageous. This is
Trutherism. Yeah, it wasn't autism either. What is this salute truism? Like, man, again, we all saw what we saw, dude. I'm sorry. Like, there's no if, and, or buts about it. The only people that are downplaying this are Nazis or Nazi sympathizers. Those are the only people that would excuse this.
So do it right now on TV.
This is the biggest
So do
conspiracy.
it right now on TV. If you think it's normal, if you think this is a normal way to greet people, do it right now on TV.
Scott,
Why won't you?
Yeah.
Yes, Scott Jennings. Why won't you do the salute on television if it's so normal? I think this is the perfect response to anyone that is claiming that this salute is perfectly normal. No, nothing wrong with this at all. Just sending my heart out to you, as Hitler would do.
As Hitler would do.
It's just so ridiculous to defend this still. So I want to give credit there to the reporter. So that was Catherine Rempel from the Washington Post telling Scott Jennings to do the salute, which of course he won't do because he knows he's full of shit. I have seen, before I get to my second point I want to make on that, I have seen people defend this salute, right-wing accounts online defend the salute by showing screenshots of Democrats who, oh, look, they're doing the salute. Yet they are pictures, not videos. Because especially, there's many examples of this, but one of the examples they use is AOC, and like they cut off the image and she has her arm out. And if you watch the video, she's going to give somebody a hug.
Yeah.
And people
Like,
are
it's so
claiming, "Look,
freaking
she did
gross, man. Like, it's so gross. Like, the way that they're trying to, like, hide or downplay or just flat out lie about what happened is just freaking gross, man.
the salute too.
I'm tired of it. It's just dishonest. It's deceptive. It's manipulative. I mean, like, seriously.
Why won't you show the videos of those people though? When you see the video, it is quite clear what went on here. Not to mention, 3 days later, Elon Musk spoke to a far-right German party at their conference, which is often referred to as the neo-Nazi party in Germany, discussing how they shouldn't be, they shouldn't feel ashamed about their past. So you don't even need the salute to tell you who Elon Musk is. Not to mention the year-long process or project he has to uplift neo-Nazis on Twitter. Like, it's just, let's not pretend anymore. But the other point I want to make here about Scott Jennings, that's enough of that salute. The other point I want to make about Scott Jennings here is that everyone knows, CNN knows, he is completely full of shit all the time. Yet they continue giving him a paycheck. They continue platforming his garbage on television because they prioritize, CNN prioritizes ratings over everything else.
Are you really the last person to find out about the skip ads forever button? This is Pi, and if it sounds familiar to you, it's probably because you've seen their ads.
Instead of having actual debates where you could have somebody who has, an opinion that you may not agree with, but they believe in it and they have backing and there is, maybe research or whatever to back up what they're debating and have real debates on TV that exist in reality. There are these fake debates that they have where people come on to defend things that are clearly ridiculous, but they are
Yeah, I think that's like a very good point. I've kind of made this point before where it's like this whole thing is pointless, right? Like, there's no point in having a conversation with a person who's, like, for all intents and purposes, a flat earther, right? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not having a conversation with a person who's telling me that what I saw wasn't what I saw. There's literally video evidence of this, right? Like, why am I going to argue? Why am I going to argue with a person telling me that what I saw wasn't true? Like, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
brought on to defend them because it helps with the ratings. To have these sorts of moments where these contentious moments on TV because someone is so completely fucking stupid, and it is clear they are fucking stupid, but they platform them because it helps with viewership. It's disgusting.
It is.
We shouldn't. You don't need anyone on TV defending Trump, because what the administration is doing is insane. There is no need to defend it. Sure, bring on members of the administration to, in terms of reporting, and talk to them and debate them on air. But in terms of panel discussions, you don't need someone on defending shit that even clearly they themselves do not believe. Let me get now to the next clip. This is going to be the Trump border czar, Tom Homan, crying about how
one of my friends is a flat earther. I burned her phone number. I'm sorry for your loss.
people have rights.
Sanctuary cities are making it very difficult to arrest the criminals. For instance, Chicago, very well educated. They've been educated how to defy ICE, how to hide from ICE.
This guy is like, who was the head of the SS? Okay, not Goebbels, right? Was who was the head of the SS in Nazi Germany? Ah, Himmler. Okay, Heinrich Himmler. Okay, so Heinrich Himmler over here is going to explain to us why people being notified of their rights is a bad thing. If the Earth was flat, cats could have knocked everything off by now.
And I've seen many pamphlets from many NGOs. Here's how you escape ICE from arresting you. Here's what you need to do. They call it know your rights. I call it how to escape arrest. There's a warrant for your arrest, and they tell you how to.
But like, you have rights, okay? Whether you are undocumented or not, citizen or not, you have rights, okay? And it is disgusting that this guy is bemoaning the idea that people are being informed of those rights. It's disgusting. All right, continue, Himmler.
How to hide from ICE. No, don't open your door. Don't answer questions.
Yeah, don't answer questions.
They call it know your rights. I call it how to avoid arrest.
Yeah, like but seriously, don't open your door. Do not answer questions. And if you know or see undocumented folks, no, you don't.
Incredible admission there. So you're saying that you should be able to unlawfully arrest people?
Yeah.
I mean, this shouldn't be surprising from Tom Homan. This is the guy who, one of the biggest advocates for separating children from their parents at the border.
Right. I mean, I think he was like one of the like high, one of like the main people that invented the family separation. Like he was one of the people that was like really big on that prior. See something, say nothing. Exactly. Carpet Packs, welcome. If anyone asks you about undocumented immigrants, talk to them about Elon Musk without saying the name Elon Musk. That's actually pretty funny. Yeah.
Always dry scoop before you run.
Listen to me.
Mark and Craig, Pop Brothers at Law. It's Shut the Fuck Up Friday, and we are here with Michael Rappaport, and we are going to review that script for you.
Mm-hmm.
Big brother, what do you say when the cops first pull you over?
Why'd you pull me over?
And when they start asking questions?
I'm not discussing my day or night, sir.
And if they keep asking questions?
Politely say, am I being detained or am I free to go?
And if detained, what do you say?
Sir, I invoke the fifth.
And then Michael Rappaport, what do you do?
Shut the fuck up.
Simple, 25 words, politely, respectfully. Review it not only on Shut the Fuck Up Friday, but every day.
And don't forget to shut the fuck up.
What are we supposed to do?
Shut the fuck up.
And then when the cops ask more questions?
You shut the fuck up.
What if they put the cuffs on you?
Shut the fuck up.
What if
you
they-
don't say a fucking word. You know what you do? You shut the fuck up.
Exactly. So see something, say nothing. Is that them in a video with Michael Rappaport? Yeah. 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 Oh my god. How old is that video?
Mark and Craig, Pop Brothers at
6 years ago. My goodness.
And Fort Worth.
F. Michael Rappaport. Yeah, he's God, he became like he became like incredibly incredibly insufferable like after I guess one could say he exposed his true colors once the Gaza genocide started happening. That guy really showed his true colors. I didn't hear about that. I don't really keep up with him. It's okay if you don't, because like basically like he just became like this rabid like pro genocide dude who like is just like all in on the whole like Gaza thing, and it's pretty disgusting. Just the first video I found. Those two lawyers are funny. Those two lawyers are funny. I've seen their videos before. Like the original video. The original video was just them saying like, you know, just shut the F up. But yeah, like those two lawyers are funny. Hardcore practitioner of Zionism. Yeah, I mean like that, yeah, it just, like he just became like gross. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, they do have a video. It's where it's just them. That's like the original video. But yeah, the point being is, yeah, when ICE, if you see ICE around and ICE starts asking you questions and you have absolutely, or even if you are involved in any of this, do not answer any questions. You do have rights, okay? Despite what Heinrich Himmler over here is saying, you do have rights. Invoking your rights is not trying to get out of an arrest, okay? Invoking your rights is not avoiding arrest, because that's like, you know, it's kind of like this 1984 stuff, because knowing your rights is akin to like avoiding arrest, which incidentally is also a crime. So like, you see like how freaking gross this gets. So yeah, you have an ethical and moral obligation to waste ICE time. Ah.
An absolutely disgusting policy.
And use your privilege, folks. Use your privilege, folks. Okay? Use your privilege. More than half of our country is gross. That's true.
But here you have him really angered at the idea that people actually have rights. Last clip I'm going to get to here, and this one is a doozy. So this is Congressman Rich McCormick, of course, a Republican here, arguing that kids should not get free lunches.
When you talk about school lunches, hey, I worked my way through high school. I don't know about you, but
I remember this one. Oh my God, this ghoul. Yeah, I think this one's it. Yep, this one's it.
Mark and Craig, Pop Brothers at Law. We've been warning people, if you are working for an unlicensed dispensary, an illegal dispensary, and it gets raided, you need to shut the fuck up. If you shut the fuck up, you have a good chance that we can make the case go away. Case in point, 3 employees of an illegal shop were busted during a raid. 2 of them said, oh, I'm just volunteering here. The 3rd guy shut the fuck up. And the DA did not prosecute the guy who shut the fuck up. They can't prove what you were doing there. If you're a customer, a patient, walked in to go to the bathroom, they don't know. You got to shut the fuck up, and it's Shut the Fuck Up Friday. So review the script. What do you say when the cop first pulls you over?
Why'd you pull me over?
And when he keeps asking questions?
Not discussing my day.
And they ask more questions?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
And if detained, what do you say?
I invoke the fifth.
And then what do? You
shut the fuck up.
shut the fuck up Friday. Never answer questions when the cops ask.
Have safe holidays.
Correct. Never, ever, 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 ever. Even if you're completely innocent, even if you have absolutely nothing to do with whatever's going on, you shut the fuck up. You can beat the charge, but you can't beat the ride.
Since I was, before I was even 13 years old, I was picking berries in the field before we had child labor laws that precluded that. I was a paper boy. And when I was in high school, I worked my entire way through. You're telling me that kids who stay at home, instead of going to work at Burger King and McDonald's during the summer, should stay at home and get their free lunch?
Yes. Yes, children, as it stands, incidentally, should be able to get food. Yes. Yes. You shut up, they'll make a show of driving you to the station and processing you, then you can beat the charge as long as you shut up. Yeah, if you have, even if you're innocent, it doesn't matter. You do not talk to the police because they're not your friends. They're not your friends. The cops are not your friends. ICE is not your friends. They're there to get you, okay? Like, even if they act like, oh, you're not in trouble. Oh, we're just gonna try. We're just investigating. Oh, we just want to answer. We're just asking a couple questions. Oh, we just need a little bit of information. Nah.
Instead of going to work, I think we need to have a top-down review.
Think
about where kids need to actually be.
An incredible clip, because in just 20 seconds, Rich McCormick manages to both bemoan child labor laws as well as argue that kids should go hungry at school.
Yep.
Because that, of course, would be the actual impact of removing school lunches. And the science and data around this is clear. I mean, it shouldn't have to be explained, but let me explain it anyways. Experts say that providing free school meals is vital, not only from a financial perspective, but from a health standpoint too. But there have been numerous studies that have
it's just so gross. Like, who the hell is against lunch for children, man? God. You have to be the most absolute ghoul of ghouls, right? Like, man, your level of ghoul must be on another level, because like, to be like, yeah, F them kids, I don't think they should have lunch. Yeah, well, if we feed the kids, how will they grow bootstraps? Cops are always trying to get something to bust you on. Never talk to them if you can help it. Exactly. Watch the show Cops. Most arrests occur when the person snitches on themselves. If these kids want lunch, they should be squirting coal like my grandpappy.
Included that students perform better academically, behaviorally, and emotionally after consuming nutritious meals during the school day. We see this in our schools every day. If a child's going hungry at school because they can't afford lunch, there's likely a lot more going on at home than they're just lazy and won't get a job. Particularly when this is not just, older kids, but school lunches applied to elementary as well.
Yeah. Also, they're kids. Full stop. Kids should never be responsible for their own food. If parents can't provide for them, someone has to. Right, and a lot of parents, rely on these public programs because most often, it's not, it's not because like parents don't want to feed their kids. Sometimes it's tough, man. It's tough. Some parents are both working 2 jobs each just to try to keep their head above water. And if they could save a little bit of money by, using the program, using the programs that are available, because, we're all taxpayers. I mean, like, seriously. What kind of goal do you have to be to not want kids to be fed? Right. I'm sure the newspaper outpaid for baseball cards and shit, not dinner. Yeah, and I'm sure that this guy's kids would never go hungry. I'm sure this guy's kids would never get like a job. They've got everything if he has kids. Kids can get jobs in meat packing plants these days. True. They're always trying to use the excuse of, I'm 8, I can't read or write yet. It's called being lazy. Exactly. These entitled children, man. You know?
Your 9-year-old to go out and work McDonald's. Like, what's the argument here? I guess his argument is, let's get rid of child labor laws so all the kids can work and buy their own lunches.
Right.
Complete insanity. But this is the face of the Republican Party.
And like, will they suffer any type of repercussions for this? Like, will they suffer any electoral repercussions? At least when they get my order wrong at McDonald's, I can be like, oh, he's 9. My kid, 8, can barely microwave a corn dog. Good luck in the workforce, kiddo.
On federal grants was rescinded. Now, not necessarily the NIH grants or some of the other health grants. Let's just be clear. The chaos is the point. I keep reiterating this, but Russell Vought, the head of the OMB, the guy who basically came up with the one of the core agendas of Project 2025, who worked for Trump in the last term, is going to work for Trump in this term, and in between was basically set up a Trump administration in exile. He is on record of saying that their agenda is to traumatize federal workers.
Right.
And in the, either by design or as a byproduct, you're going to traumatize
Jesus, Samuel. You need to have a talk with Matt Leck about the filters you got going on there. I can hear the siren in the background.
Ton of Americans. Obviously, the federal workers are Americans, but people who rely on the government. And whether that means like your Medicaid payment, you can't get your drugs at the drugstore, your rural drugstore, because Medicaid is not doing reimbursement rates because they shut down the portal, or whether it's you don't know if you can send your kid to daycare tomorrow because when you went in today, the head of the daycare said, we didn't get our Head Start grant that we're supposed to get. I can't pay my teachers, or my teachers are going to quit tomorrow, or whatever it is. All of these things. And this woman was under the impression that her SNAP payments were going to get cut off. The confusion is the point. And
oh, Superbox Ultra.
She may or may not have the savvy to know, oh, this is not actually a function of the government. This is a function of the Trump administration. And in 4 years, it's possible to have a different administration and the government will behave in a different way. She may or may not know that. But the relationship between people and the benefits, the advantages, the help, stuff that they don't even necessarily are aware as a function of the federal government, is being severed, and that's part of the plan. Look at the way that she reacts when she hears that she may be losing her SNAP benefits. And understand, there's not that many.
And just to be clear, like, I don't know if this is the person who, because I think I remember this, watching this. Just to be clear, like, I don't know who this person voted for. I don't know if they voted for Trump, but in any case, like, no one deserves to go freaking hungry, man. Okay, SNAP benefits are incredibly important, and no one deserves to go hungry. And it's extremely disheartening how we are watching absolute chaos unfold, and real life people are feeling it. And this is only week 2, folks. Like, just barely. In a couple days, we'll be finishing week 2.
The amount of money we're talking about is minimal.
Wait a fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying right fucking now, because what the fuck do you mean that I'm not gonna get my fucking SNAP benefits? What the fuck do you mean? Because what the fuck is happening? Do you understand that there are people like me who cannot work? Do you understand there are people like me who have kids who cannot eat? Do you understand there are people like me who go hungry the last week of the month just so my kids can't eat?
Yeah, and Republicans don't care. Okay? They will gladly cut those benefits down if it means that they can get their billionaire buddies a tax break. They will gladly smile as they take away food from children. They will they will laugh as even the same people that voted for them lose their ability to eat. It sucks for the people who didn't vote for him, but I hope there's a ton of people like this who did. Yeah, faces for leopards.
Because SNAP benefits is all we fucking get. I need somebody to please fucking tell me he's lying. I can't. What the fuck am I gonna do?
This is, we don't need to play out the whole thing, but this is, this reaction in some form or another reverberated throughout the country. Whether it's, somebody who gets their cancer treatment cut off because the NIH's grants are frozen, whether it's, some PhD student who's like going to go into this research and they called it off, whether it was people working at federal agencies.
He hates you. Yep, he hates and has disdain for all his supporters, everyone who's not him. The Republican supporters need a reality check. Consider going postal on a Republican politician.
Who are seeing the writing on the wall. They don't know if they're going to have a job next week.
People who helped our occupation of Afghanistan, who are now just, left out.
You can just extend this to the Venezuelans who are here on temporary protected status because we, in the course of our attempted coup under Trump, not to mention all the other ones, but destabilized their country. I mean, it goes on and on. This is a feature, not a bug of everything they're doing. This is exactly what they want. And it's a perfectly rational reaction to it.
No, but they should reconsider who they vote for.
And this is the importance of the federal government to people. I don't know what else to say about it. This is what they want.
This is a submerged. This is the type of thing we should be hearing a lot more of. Like people with this perspective, I see this woman invited to talk on talk shows about the importance of SNAP and stuff like this. And it's not really the point here, but the first time I saw this video, it was of Democrats saying she deserved it because she voted for Trump. And I'm actually seeing it even in our chat. Did she vote for Trump? Or in that question? No, she didn't. She didn't. She voted for, and she said, actually, we warned you about voting for Trump. So she voted for Democrats. That's a sickness to even ask that question about this, in my opinion. Like, I just think people need to get their priorities straight.
Yeah, we got it. Let's not meme too close to the sun, but yes, what is the insanity in this hour today? Oh man, like I don't know, man. Like it's so difficult to keep up with all the stuff. Like it's just one thing after another, man.
Number 13. I'm sorry, Sam, but I think you underestimate people's ability to associate the Trump Association with this. It's the easiest association to make. Why do you think they rescinded the order? It was unpopular and they miscalculated. Republicans aren't geniuses and our population isn't completely dumb. There was a huge fuck up, and I think it lost them a lot of leverage. I mean, I agree.
Maybe.
I agree.
Like, will they actually be punished for this? Like,
I'm not saying, like, we have a big country. It's not hard to find people go like, government hands off my Medicare.
I mean, even in the Dust Bowl, there was an issue with like Okie refugees, literally climate refugees, not wanting to take handouts as they were treated as we treat refugees currently. Like, it is a sort of thing, but a sort of American thing that needs to be overcome of like, look, you get help.
If people were more aware, and I listen, this is, you see the president rescind this order, not because necessarily that woman is suffering or there are people out there who understand this. It's because senators get, what was it? Was it Cornyn today during RFK's hearing was talking about PEPFAR? I think it was Cornyn. Some Republican was talking about PEPFAR. This is his pet project about, AIDS work in foreign countries. That gets cut off.
Yeah, which we talked about yesterday. I will say he's showing to be as ineffective this term as he was in his first. All the lawsuits and reversals are already happening. A big issue is a whole segment of the population can't understand facts or reality. They understand propaganda and Facebook memes. I won't disagree with that. I won't disagree with that.
He calls the White House. What are you doing? There's no doubt they get pushback on this. But understand, if you want to make the argument to me that the American public understands the relationship between themselves and government, I feel like I have a fairly strong case. When people are out there saying, look, the government's too big, they have no idea. We spend too much money on foreign aid. And they would say this incidentally before, Israel and Ukraine, when a fraction of our budget is there. I just had a debate with 20 ranging from ding-dongs to just misinformed people out in L.A. Apparently, it's coming out February 16th. And I can assure you, the level of misinformation as to what our government does is astonishing. There's a lot of things I can be accused of, but overestimating the broad ignorance of Americans as to what government does for them, and at least what it does, I don't think is one of them. King of all IMers, what's yellow and fuzzy and red all over? A baby chicken in the HHS secretary's blender. Okay. Risa, Matt Leck, can you apologize for calling Catholic converts freaks so this one person in the Discord can move on with their life?
I can. I do kind of believe it, I must say. I think a lot of the, especially conservative who go to Catholicism later in life.
Accountability is non-existent within 100 miles of Donald Trump. All that exists is bluster, obfuscation, rhetorical ignorance, and just plain plugging your ears and yelling really loud. Yep.
I gotta say, I have a prejudice against them. I will confess it. If you came to Catholicism for another reason, say
confess, Matt, confess.
You're a migrant in Central America or something, and like the Pope's outreach, you're not a freak. Enjoy the church that I left.
Somebody just lost some of their dessert privileges.
I like that Matt is doubling down.
At the commissary. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the...
Oh, my goodness. Man, I hope so, Bulletproof Bullet. I hope so. In the next episode of FAFO,
Worth ISD says a substitute. This weekend, Fort Worth ISD says a substitute teacher commented on an X post calling for ICE to raid Northside High School. It says in part, quote, I have so
We need some of his cabinet to talk shit about him on hot mics.
many students who don't even speak English. They have to communicate through their iPhone translator with me. The government should overhaul the Texas school system. Fort Worth ISD says the district is investigating the post, and per district protocol, the employee is not allowed on campus during the investigation.
Turns out that racist Texas teacher is now suffering the consequences of his own actions after inviting Trump's Gestapo into his school. And I say that because he's not just under investigation by the district. He's also under investigation apparently by Twitter sleuths, who have also uncovered even more disturbing tweets about his own students that's probably going to become part of the district's investigation as well. For example, in response to a tweet about Trump disbanding a school safety board to prevent school shootings, he responded to that saying, I'm a teacher and I could care less. I think he means he couldn't care less. Kids are horribly undereducated these days. I teach high school kids who are on an elementary school level. You know, this kind of feels like a self-report to me, because if your students are behind and you are their teacher, perhaps you are the reason why they're behind. But to show you what I mean, he responded to an attack on a supposedly woke, I guess, teacher by Libs of TikTok with a barely literate post, which leads me to believe that he really is the culprit as to why his students are...
Of course. Quit your job. Oh, I think they're going to make him quit for him. If they're still at an elementary school, he's failing. Correct. Fire the racist teacher. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's going to get it. You see why I speak Spanish?
Struggling. He said, I teach with these fucking libtards every day, and that's what I talk to no one at work except the kids. I think he means that's why I talk to no one at work except the kids. But it's funny because, you know, you're saying everybody else is stupid. These libtards are stupid. These kids are stupid. But yet you're kind of talking like a caveman yourself. When you read it aloud, it sounds like a caveman. But I mean, I thought you said that you couldn't talk to the kids because they don't speak English. Hence why you called ICE to deport them, right? But I mean, I feel like saying that he called ICE or called on ICE to deport his own students, that's not clear enough, because he didn't just subtweet ICE or casually float the idea in a random tweet. He literally replied to ICE to tell them to come for his students to get their attention, so that way they do come for his students. So that's the kind of person that we're dealing with here. And I'm assuming that he expected ICE to just show up anyway after Trump opened the door to ICE raids being conducted in schools and also churches and hospitals. But it turns out it's not going to be that easy, because school districts around the country are taking action to protect.
Yeah, like, just to be clear, like, you know, this guy is just like a racist piece of shit and should not be a teacher at all, because the interest, his interests are not the students, and he's clearly had a history. He's clearly had a history of just being a disgusting person. So yeah, I think that the appropriate measure would be to relieve him of his teaching position. And on social media, people cannot English properly, and I know English is not a verb. His interests clearly lie with making his job easier. Love that he'll talk shit about his work on an account that's not anonymous.
Rightfully so. And those students are legally entitled to an education regardless of their immigration status. And that defense from teachers of their students has led to stochastic terrorist slobs like Libs of TikTok, whose fiance left her, by the way, melting down in response and accusing schools of breaking the law by educating immigrants about their rights. And, you know, if I had to guess, this teacher was also triggered like Chaya Raichik of Libs of TikTok when he saw the outpouring of support for immigrants in his own community.
Yeah, so just to be clear, like, this is the same talking point from Tom Human, aka Heinrich Himmler. You know, she's repeating the same talking points about knowing your rights is actually bad. Teachers with such bad attitude, teachers with such bad attitude should just quit before they do worse shit like this. Yep, Mike is such an empathetic sass, indeed.
A protest in Fort Worth on Sunday called for the protection of children in North Texas schools. A third-grade teacher in Fort Worth ISD says her students are afraid to come to class.
Yes, just on Friday, 3 of my parents said that they were not sending their kids to school anymore because they're afraid.
A fear Jeanette Martinez says an 8-year-old shouldn't have.
They don't know. They don't know all this is evil, and they're just trying to get an education. Children should not be afraid.
And that right there gives me hope. Seeing the community come together and speak out for those who can't speak for themselves right now is exactly what's needed at this moment. But at the same time, I've got to admit, it also enrages me because people shouldn't have to come out and say that. Like, we shouldn't be having to do any of this. People shouldn't have to say that children, regardless of their immigration status, shouldn't be afraid to go to school. I feel like a civilized society should just agree with that automatically. It should be the default moral position of everyone.
But in like a lot of places it is. So like, yeah. The problem is good teachers are quitting too because they can't work within a system which promotes bad teachers and also the death threats. Yeah. How my, like my dad told me, I have the right to speak in whichever language I want. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, this is America, right? Like, you're allowed to you're allowed to speak whatever language you want, and like, quite frankly, like, whatever. Yeah, no one should give you any crap for speaking a different language. This is why I homeschool.
But apparently not. And to be clear, children are the focus here because they're the most vulnerable. But nobody should be afraid for their lives. Nobody should be afraid to go to work. But that is the kind of climate that Trump has cultivated. And yesterday, I was talking to my niece, and she told me that since Trump has been in office, she's been afraid to go to the grocery store since she's worried that ICE might question her or illegally detain her. And hearing her say that to me genuinely broke my fucking heart into a million pieces, because my niece is one of the most strong and confident people I've ever known. So the thought of these fascist pricks breaking her spirit was almost too much for me to bear. Now, to be clear, my niece is a US citizen, but she's a Latina. And the fact that she and people who look like her, regardless if they're citizens or not, are worried to just go out in public because they're afraid that they're going to be racially profiled by Trump's Gestapo is infuriating, to put it mildly. But with that being said, within these first 2 weeks of Trump's administration, good people around the country have made it very clear. If you want to get to them, you're going to have to go through us first. And this unwillingness to stand down in the face of fascism has actually thrown a wrench in Trump's mass deportation plans. But don't take it from me. Take it from Trump's immigration czar, Tom Homan.
Sanctuary cities are making it very difficult to arrest the criminals. For instance, Chicago, very well educated. They've been educated how to defy ICE, how.
Freaking believable. I don't even smoke with inside of a kid, but these people send ICE to schools.
How to hide from ICE. And I've seen many pamphlets from many NGOs. Here's how you escape ICE from arresting you. Here's what you need to do.
Yeah, can we get the original? Can we get the original in German, please? Can we get the original in German?
They call it Know Your Rights. I call it How to Escape Arrest. There's a warrant for your arrest, and they tell you how to hide from ICE. No, don't open your door. Yep. Don't answer questions.
That's right, asshole. We are going to make sure that they know their rights. And the fact that so many immigrants are informed.
And remember, chat, the biggest one, okay? STFU, okay? The biggest one of all, STFU.
Has inhibited Trump's ability to deport as many people as he'd like, which has led to officials issuing quotas in order to pressure ICE to ramp up the arrests. So immigrant rights activists have already made it very difficult for this administration to deport people simply by informing everyone about their rights. And for good measure, I'm going to say it again. You have the right to remain silent. If they ask to search you, you have the right to ask them for a warrant, and you should. If they ask you to sign something...
Yeah, just to be clear, like, the Constitution, the amendments, the Bill of Rights, they don't just apply to citizens, right? Like, your right to not self-incriminate, your right to remain silent, that's regardless of whether or not you are a citizen, okay? So do not speak to police. Do not speak to law enforcement. Do not speak to ICE. If you're being caught up in these Gestapo raids, these SS raids, be aware that you have rights. Okay. I love how ICE is ignoring people's documents, just being like, you failed the vibe check and trying to deport everyone. Right. Like people that look like me are subject to stop for papers, please.
Don't. If you have papers, carry them with you at all times, and I'm going to link you to English and Spanish scripts down below from the ACLU. I would encourage you to memorize them. Also, if you're a citizen and you see ICE, yell La Migra as loud as you can to notify immigrants in the vicinity that the Gestapo is here. Let them know of the Gestapo's presence, and you will make them safer. Everyone getting on the same page right now about this, that is one way to push back, and it's already having an effect in a concrete way. But I don't want to paint too rosy of a picture because this administration's mass deportation effort has only just begun. But they will get increasingly aggressive as time goes on. In fact, Tom Homan has been...
Yeah, and like as more people start resisting, they are going to get tougher so that people's spirit breaks and they stop resisting. As Tom Homan, aka Himmler, just said, this is frustrating because you're teaching people how about their rights, and we don't really like that. So yeah, I suspect that they might put the screws on and try to break civilian spirit so that they don't do this. But in doing so, they also risk uniting more and more people against them.
And it's very clear he is going to go into schools if need be.
Middle schools, elementary schools, you going to go into those?
How many MS-13 members are the age of 14 to 17? Many of them. So, look, if it's the national...
Oh, yeah, the very well-known MS-13 members that are in high school. Yeah, whatever, dude. What a disgusting freak. We're gonna need a bigger Luigi. Warning, strong language in this video. What am I?
Now taxes?
Whoa!
Up to 4,000.
Oh, yeah. We just watched this. We just watched watched this. That's why I said STFU, because I think it was Echo Ressa Dragon gave us this earlier. Yes. SV Harkin. Yep. Fear. I like how it's TurboTax ad. It's just dystopia all the way. Yep.
Security threat, public safety threat, and what you need to understand is a case by case.
Case by case. In other words, yes, we will send our immigration Gestapo into schools and pull children out of classrooms to deport them.
But like, you see how like the pretense, that the groundwork that's being laid out to justify all this gross stuff is just like, these people are criminals. Like literally 14 to 17-year-old MS-13, a U.S. creation, a U.S. export, by the way. They're in your high schools, man. They're in your high schools. So yeah, if we have to go and detain your high school student, then like so be it, because that's how MS-13 rolls, by being in high school ? It's always STFU Friday, correct? Why can't these fash people speak clearly?
Now, there is going to be a time where that's probably going to come, but right now, they're treading carefully because they saw how severe the backlash was when Trump implemented family separation policy the last time he was president. I mean, the pictures of children crying as they were being torn away from their parents led to national outrage and forced them to end the program abruptly. But now that enough time has passed and most Americans support mass deportations again, they're trying to maintain public support as long as they possibly can, not because the Trump administration cares what the public thinks, but because actual resistance, people protesting and putting their bodies on the line, that is going to make it so much more difficult for them to deport as many people as they say they want to deport. So they're starting slowly, and they're trying to maintain a consistent flow of propaganda in order to maintain consent from the masses as long as...
Right, and the groundwork is always that these are some of the most dangerous, vile criminals that are sex offenders and like the worst kind of people that you could possibly think, right? Like that's who they want you to think about as they roll out these programs. And again, we're gonna kind of reiterate what we were talking about yesterday. But yeah, that's the justification. They're you know, all these all you know, the people that we're rounding up, they're just like the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. When obviously that's not true. One of the arrests in Boston looked totally faked. Speaking of, there was like a lot of ICE movement in Puerto Rico. Not Dominican Republic, but in Puerto Rico. So, yeah.
As they can. And as you saw, he only raised the specter of going into schools insofar as a teenager was a member of MS-13. So right now, they're trying to prime you to think that every single immigrant that they're deporting is a criminal.
Right.
Even
And like
kids.
not just a criminal, but like the most vile criminals too. Like, you know, how they were trying to do like the whole Dr. Phil stunt. And the other what's the other clown? The lady that the lady that killed the dog. Gnome, Christy Gnome, how she was saying like, oh, you know, we're rounding up all these you know, that guy that we rounded up the other day was a sex offender, and the other guy was like some murder. Like, come on, man, he was wanted for first degree murder, and they let him go. Yeah, okay, dude, or second degree murder, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm just like paraphrasing, but the point being is they want you. They're trying to sell this to the American people. By saying that these are just like some of the most vile people on the planet, and that's who you should think of whenever you see like a Hispanic looking person, right? That's what you need to think about.
And
yeah, they're going to deport Dominicans
on purpose. Right now, Dr. Phil and Fox News are going on ICE ride-alongs to document the criminals they're deporting, rapists, murderers, and whatnot, so as to create this impression that it's only the bad guys that are being deported, but that is...
Like, do you know how much it'll cost? A lot. This whole entire thing is just like an exercise in futility. Like, it's so expensive, which is also kind of scary to think about because, like, you know, we're going to reiterate what happened with actual video about what Trump was saying about Guantanamo. But, like, you know, that's also kind of like the scary part, right? Because, like, what are they going, like, what happens when we start wasting so much money on all this effort with all these people? Like, what are we going to do with these people? I'm kind of scared as to what kind of answers those type of people might have. U.S. has been deporting people by plane for decades. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, the mass deportation plan that Trump has envisioned, along with these other fascist ghouls have envisioned, like, it's just so expensive to first of all, to round up, house, process, and then deport all these people. First of all, like, man, I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, if they really go down the way that they want to go down, and it starts becoming apparent that they're not going to be able to deport as many people as they thought, they can't house and hold and process as many people as they thought, what is going to happen to those people?
Pure propaganda. I need you to understand that. They want all of them gone. They have admitted this time and time again. In fact, just this week, Lauren Beetlejuice Boebert, a sitting
Beetlejuice Boebert, like AOC says, it's all going to go to private prisons and their investors.
Lawmaker said the only DEI she supports is deporting every illegal. No human being is illegal. Fuck you for saying that, by the way. But she's not making this distinction between criminals and non-criminals. Most Republicans, including Trump, no longer even make the distinction between documented and undocumented immigrants. They want them all gone. Unless
they want U.S. citizens gone too. They want U.S. citizens gone. Trump is talking about deporting U.S. citizens who, like, the worst criminals of the U.S. Of U.S. society, and saying, like, well, I don't know what we're gonna do with them, but we got to get them out of our country. You know, these people, they can't be in our country. They're destroying our country. And you know what? I have a feeling that I have an idea as to who he's talking about. Everything Trump wants to do requires the complicity of everyone in the chain of command, correct? And they've already radicalized a bunch of cops, potentially. Yeah, I mean, like, ICE is literally just like a modern SS. Like strictly. Like, ICE is literally like a modern SS / well, is the Gestapo part of the SS? Man, I gotta brush up on some of this crap because it's so relevant now that I have to sit here and study Nazi Germany to kind of understand the parallels here. Jesus Christ. Is the Gestapo, holy shit, part of the SS? Oh yeah, it does. The Gestapo fell under fell under the authority of the branches of the SS. So yeah, I mean, like, we can just say that ICE is basically like the modern day SS, with like the teams that go in and door to door and start, you know, just black bagging people and roping people up. Those could be like the Gestapo. The ICE parts that are managing the new concentration camp that is going to be opened in Guantanamo Bay, like that's also a part of like the SS. I mean, yeah, pretty much. ICE is the Gestapo. The Trump administration is mass producing people with nothing to lose. Yep, that's true. That's true. The Trump administration is mass producing people with nothing to lose. Yep. And yeah, something's got to give. Something's got to give when you do that. Especially with the kind of plans that, again, this doesn't mean that, like, you know, we're gonna get like death camps or anything like that, but like the whole point is to make sure that people are aware of this and where this type of stuff could go and stop it now.
They're white, so you have to be cognizant of the show that they're putting on for all of us. It serves two main purposes. It pacifies the masses, and it instills fear in immigrant communities. And immigrant activist Amy Torres was on Democracy Now!, and I think that she put it back.
They grabbed Navajo who had ID as Navajo. Yeah, and Trump has said that he doesn't consider, like, you know, based on, I think, the 14th Amendment, the Trump administration was trying to make the argument that, like, indigenous people aren't even American. Like, dude, what the this is insanity. Like, if actually these people got their way the way they want it, this is wild. That's part of the reason why he, like, immediately renamed Mount Denali to that president. I can't even remember, but it doesn't matter. Mount Denali, because, like, he's truly a disgusting, bigoted, racist asshole. Like, that's literally just who he is. That's not exaggerating. That's not overselling it. That's just who he is. What a hate-filled piece of shit. Yeah, the 14th Amendment BS is from the debate brewing a part of specifically related to children of foreign diplomats. Yep.
Best.
If you are a bystander and you see ICE in your neighborhood, you see ICE on your block, you take out your phone and you start filming, because if Dr. Phil can do it, you better bet that you can do it too. The other thing
by the way, it's completely legal to photograph and film police. There's literally nothing preventing you from pulling out your phone and filming police doing public doing their public duties. There's literally nothing that can prevent you from filming. Yeah, just don't interfere. Right. Like, you can photograph, record, and flip off police legally. Correct. So yeah, you can do that. It's completely legal. It's protected. It's constitutionally protected as of right now, as it stands. Yeah, stay on the sidewalk. Yeah, your phone has a zoom feature, so it's perfectly fine. So yeah, I recommend everyone get a beginner's guide to Constitution. Yeah, it will be legal, but they will harass you. Yep, and you know what? If you have that kind of privilege, then use it. My too expensive, but yeah, you would think so. Like, all of this, basically what he's saying is all of this could be is a waste of resources, and could be diverted for people without housing. I mean, yeah, obviously, like we could be using all this kind of stuff for housing and like, you know, public programs, but like, you know, instead we're doing fascism. It is a waste. Get a pocket constitution, but not one from a right-wing org. Yes, yes. I would say go to the website. I would say go to the official website, but you know, if I remember correctly, it used to be called Mount McKinley. The name was changed to a native name. Now Trump wants to change it back. Correct. Because the original indigenous name was Denali. Correct. Tina rating in. Thank you so much. Welcome, 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 everybody. McKinley was a chud. Welcome, Raiders. Hey, thank you so much for bringing your wonderful community here. Thank you. Please, folks, if you haven't done so, please consider checking out Tina. Wonderful content creator. Thank you so much for bringing your wonderful folks here. If you enjoy the content, hey, I'm a Difficult Truth. We're here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're enjoying your stay here, hit that follow button. Thank you. I believe I just saw a follow here. Matt Mizvi, thank you for the follow and welcome. Welcome, everybody. Please, once again, thank you to Tina. Thank you. And please go show some support. I appreciate it. All presidents are war criminals. True. Thank you. McKinley also loved tariffs and got us into deep recessions with tariffs, so that's why he wanted to do it as well. Makes sense. Why should we waste our money and our youth? I agree. So is it a GMC Yukon McKinley?
To keep in mind is that this is an administration that is built for the billionaire class. Yes, ICE's current directives are built.
The Gestapo was ICE, the rank and file forces. The SS would be like the American SS if the American SS was affiliated with the USCIS instead of the Treasury. Gotcha. I wasn't sure like what would be the more appropriate, because like I understood the SS as being like a more broad, like the top, and then like the SS would then have divisions like the Gestapo. But like, yeah, I think like, you know, ICE is analogous to the Gestapo. So I think I think that's fine to make that analogy. I was debating to go with I was debating to go whether to call it like the modern SS, but like the Gestapo seems to be just fine as my original analogy. Always a damned hierarchy. Yeah, well, it's
built
Nazis.
on racism. It's built on the post 9/11 nationalism that bore Department of Homeland Security to begin with. But this is also a gift to private prison corporations. That's very true here in New Jersey, where the world's largest private prison corporation, CoreCivic, is looking to expand its footprint and to challenge our ban on immigration detention. It's true in Newark, where Geo Group, one of the other largest private prison corporations, is looking to expand here in Newark, New Jersey, and in other cities across the state. So yes, whether it's 100 arrests today or 1,000 arrests today, it is built on fear, so that if we can't detain people for profit, we are detaining them in the isolation of their own homes. We are segregating them from society. We are making people so fearful that they're withdrawing their kids from school. They're too fearful.
Yeah, and that's the point. The Nazi SS was like the elite officer corps.
To see a doctor. They're too fearful to go to their pharmacy. You know, outside of Newark, we had a pharmacy raid in Patterson here in New Jersey just this weekend. And what that does is segregate society so that if the federal administration can't physically remove you, you are physically removing yourself into a shadow economy, into places where you can't stand up or you don't feel confident standing up for your rights.
Yeah. So if the rest of us are separated from immigrant communities and we're only being fed imagery of criminals being deported, we're more likely to support mass deportation. It's called manufacturing consent, and even though immigrants will be harmed the most, citizens are also going to be victimized by Trump's Gestapo as well, which is why this propaganda effort is all the more important.
Right. This is just one of Trump's out of the deal with private prisons.
But on that note, citizens have already been swept up in Trump's mass deportation. I say this because last week in Newark, there was a disastrous ICE raid at a seafood depot where Trump's Gestapo stormed in without a warrant and detained multiple people, including, by the way, U.S. citizens and a U.S. veteran. Now, they did pick up undocumented workers as well, but we don't actually know if they were criminals as well. Neither does ICE, apparently. So the raids are not targeted, contrary to popular belief, and the goal is to make everyone, including citizens, feel panic and scare everyone into giving up their neighbors. But that can't happen if we are a united front and everybody knows their rights. And it just goes to show you that, it's not just the criminals being targeted, even if they want you to think that that is the case. But if they do nab a criminal, they are going to publicize it as much as possible to give you the impression that that's indicative of most detentions and deportations. But that is propaganda, right? But as it stands right now, Trump's administration, they still think that they have a mandate since public support currently is on their side. And they're trying to do as much as they can before the honeymoon period is over. And make no mistake about it, that day will come. And Anand Giridharadas described on MSNBC what he believed would be the tipping point for Americans where they would withdraw consent from mass deportations.
When you start having Gestapo raids in America, and we start becoming a country where
I don't think they should blur their faces, man. These are public servants. So I think that it's important to make sure that these are very public. These ICE agents. That's another audiobook I need to stream to play for people. It's like ICE is operating solely from a citizen reporting call center.
As in East Germany, a knock on the door is the thing people are thinking about instead of the brilliant idea they want to go create. Then we are moving very, very far from the president worrying about what regular people need, right? He is distracting people with this flurry of activity, but none of these images you're seeing are going to make your life better. None of these things, contrary to popular belief.
Yeah, as it turns out, like all these like freaking Gestapo raids, they're not going to bring down the cost of eggs, okay? Okay? Incidentally, ignoring a very real bird flu pandemic that's destroying entire flocks, is raising the prices of eggs, as an example. But that's not what we're really dealing with, because of course we're no longer reporting anything. Whatever. I think my landlord's going to come into my house. They've done it 3 times this month for nothing. Eesh.
Have anything to do with the still high price of eggs. None of these things will make it easier to start a business. None of these things will make it easier for people to get the education they need, change their lives, leave their kids.
Correct, because none of that is the point. None of that is the point. It's just to instill fear so that you are scared and you're not thinking about what the actual problem is, capital, and you're worried. You're either worried, okay, because you are you're of an immigrant family who knows people who are undocumented, or maybe you might get profiled even though you're a perfectly legal American citizen. And the other side being that these people are just thinking that all of this is a good thing and are just completely forgetting about the prices of eggs. Now you want to outsource those roads to local police and the military. Yeah, exactly. That's actually a thing. I think it was I want to say Oklahoma was making a rule where private you can like sign up to be like essentially a private freaking bounty hunter, and you would be paid based on deportations, right? Like you would be paid based on how many people you bring in. I forget the actual state. I think it starts with an O, so it might be Oklahoma. I can't remember. Actually, I can just look it up. Oh, Mississippi. I'm sorry. Mississippi. Registered bounty hunters in Mississippi could get $11,000 for each successful deportation that they facilitate. Yeah, this is true. This is happening, folks. In South, it's going to make it fruits, veggies, and meats cost more than eggs. Yep. At South Orange County, California, my grocery store limits you to 1 dozen of eggs due to the shortage. Yikes. That's disgusting and a recipe for death. Yep. I mean, it's here. It's here, folks.
The quote Mississippi Illegal Alien Certified Bounty Hunter Program. A Mississippi District Attorney, Matthew Barton, proposed the bill, which was authored by Republican State Representative Justin Keene. Representative Keene joining us now live this morning to explain all of it. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate being here.
Of course. Well, first off, I want to do a broad overlook here at this legislation. Can you break down exactly what it is and what it would really do?
Well, this piece of legislation was brought about to fill a gap. We all have seen over the last 4 years kind of what the Biden administration has done to the ICE department. He's basically tried to shut it down to where it's non-functional. So,
A, that's not true. And B, yeah, it should be shut down. Okay. Get my historic American flag in the shot. ICE is pulling people over and harassing students near university at Buffalo. Jesus. No, I mean literally conscripting police and National Guard for these raids. Holy crap. Yikes. Is that even legal? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because they can just do whatever I guess they can just do whatever they want. But perhaps we should say just no. Ha! Bounty hunter is a misnomer. They're human hunters. Yep. This guy looks like a Confederate LARP. True.
House Bill 1484 was created to give us a neighborhood watch sort of gap for
neighborhood watch. Would that neighborhood watch also parade around in like white hoods? I'm just curious. Is that like the uniform? Or is it maybe perhaps like an all black uniform with a little armband? You know, with a little ICE armband? You know, the neighborhood watch with a little ICE armband on your side? Yeah. In Chicago, the mayor instructed the police to not comply with ICE and provide safe zones. The NYPD, Eric Adams, is doing everything he can to help ICE. Yeah, because he's thinking that he's gonna get a deal if he kind of brokers perhaps he lets ICE do whatever they want, and maybe the charges that that he's dealing with go away. But he's always been a fascist before this too. I mean, he's a cop, wasn't he? Wasn't he like the top cop? Hey, RE 918. Yeah, okay, good. I remember. Why is Adams not impeached? Good question.
people that deal with criminals on a day-to-day basis. That's what bounty hunters, law enforcement, bails bondsmen do. So it's an information.
Cops gonna dust off their runway slave patrol badges. Oh my God. He looks like he loves the taste of shoe polish. He was an upper level transit cop. Now he's a corporate puppet. He became a cop because the cops beat the shit out of him.
Gathering to our higher up law enforcement community to then push that information to ICE so they can then act on that.
There are state charges. Trump cannot pardon him. No, not a pardon, but perhaps that the investigations that are happening to him on a state level, maybe they can come to an agreement. But they are state charges, yes. If you beat them, if you get beat by them, join them.
Information.
And what you're looking at, I brought this up a little bit earlier, but this is a post from Secretary Kristi Noem as she says arresting some criminal aliens this morning in NYC. Thank you to the brave officers involved. Why did you want to make sure to be a part of this? Why was it so important for you?
Well,
I just want to see the brown people gone, It's really important to my constituents that, no brown people be in the vicinity.
My family has a background in law enforcement, as do I. On top of that, I feel like as a representative here in the district and for the state of Mississippi, we're supposed to represent our constituents, what their wants. And after you see the referendum vote that President Trump got,
I literally, yeah, okay, yeah.
He basically ran on this as one of his number one agendas. So this is an opportunity for Mississippi to kind of take that step to support him and to illustrate to the voters that we're trying to do, and we hear what you're saying.
As the author of
the Constitution, the constituents being just like racist assholes, how much longer will we have to wait till the masks fully come off? Oh, I mean, you know. I don't see much of that mask left, to be honest. He comes from a long line of bootlickers. Hey, bipedal meatbag. Oh, I see. Okay, this is what I want. Okay, yeah, we're here. But anyways, like, we're wasting time on this. Get out of here, generally. Military allows ICE to detain migrants inside of base. Oh, stop ads. Stop it. We're furious about the ICE raids here in NYC. Kristi Noem has done nothing but disgust for the people of the Bronx. She hasn't said a word to them and just poses for the cameras. The Thai yells racist. Okay, so this is what we want before we finish the rest of this. Military allows ICE to detain migrants inside base in Denver area ahead of expected immigration sweeps. The military on Tuesday announced it would allow ICE, the Gestapo, to use a base to detain unauthorized immigrants in an area to Colorado expected to be a center of upcoming immigration arrest operations. So, like, let's say another way of putting it is it's going to, you know, potential bases might be used to say hold a lot of people and say concentrate a lot of people in an area where they might be put in temporary places. You could even call them camps, maybe, if you will. The Department of Defense said it would approve a request from the Gestapo for facilities inside the Buckley Space Air Force Base. The Buckley Space Force Base in Aurora, Colorado, to be converted into a temporary staging and detention site. Again, a place where you would presumably concentrate a bunch of people in a temporary location that is akin to a camp, if you will. In a statement to CBS News, the Department of Defense spokesman said the base is expected to house migrants with criminal records arrested during an operation taking place in Colorado. The Gestapo and other law enforcement authorities and not military personnel would administer the migrant detainee facilities. So the Gestapo requirements for the facility include a temporary operation center, staging area, and temporary holding location for receiving, holding, and processing of, quote, illegal aliens. So yeah, a place where you could say concentrate a place that's built like a camp where you concentrate a bunch of people. Got it. Man, I mean, seriously. The military's role in Mr. Trump's immigration crackdown could expand further and internal. Like, who would be like the CBP? Who would be like the CBP? Like, are they like, not the, oh man, what's the other like secret police well, no, they're not like secret police. ICE is more like the secret police. Anyways. An internal CBP memo obtained by CBS News indicates the administration has considered sending as many as 10,000 troops to the southern border and using more military installations for migrant detention. The decision to use a Space Force base in Aurora to hold unauthorized migrants also noteworthy given the expected ramp-up of Gestapo activity in and near that Denver suburb. So, yeah. Wow. The two U.S. officials told CBS News on Tuesday that the Denver area is among the next targets for stepped-up immigration arrest operations that the Gestapo has been conducting under Trump. So, yeah, I mean, like, this is wild. CBP are technically the, quote, legit organization. Gotcha. So they're like the regular Polizei versus the secret police. the Guantanamo expansion is worrying because why do that if you don't plan on abusing these people, right? Yeah.
Better off. This is all a distraction, shock and awe, as you said earlier, so that Donald Trump can do one thing. And you saw it at the inauguration, telegraphed to you. Enrich his billionaire cronies, enrich his oligarch friends. That is what he is actually doing when he's not busy releasing his crypto coins. And all of this is sort of bread and circuses for people to stare at while he's robbing you from the back.
And that is a very, very important point. So many lives are going to be destroyed by this administration.
Right, and like that's the point. But like real people are being hurt. Even if it is meant to be as a distraction, by distraction meaning like don't look over here while I like, you know, pick your pocket, right? But like that distraction is actually like real people. It's super provocative to send immigrants to Guantanamo. Yep. Why not deport them? What that was bad enough, but not Guantanamo. For what? Because it's a black site and we have absolutely no idea what's going on there. And I think that's kind of the point.
Administration, and after seeing tens of thousands, if not millions of immigrants get deported, the Americans who yearned for mass deportation are going to be forced to come to the realization that even though more immigrants are gone, their lives still aren't getting better, right? They were told that the immigrants were to blame for all of their problems, but they were deported. Trump said he deported all the criminals at least, and at some point, that will be evidence that they were sold a lie, and they're going to have to decide whether or not they should believe their own lived experience or the propaganda that they were fed. But if and when they come to that realization, it will only be temporary, because as a nation, collectively, we have the memory of a goldfish. So we're going to have a small window of time to act.
Yeah, the cruelty is the point. So we're going to torture and interrogate fish? No, they're just going to be held in a black site where they're just going to be in poor conditions. We will have no idea how, like, to what extent the human rights abuse is going to happen, because again, what he's proposing, and we'll play the video in a second. What he's proposing is to send, because he's saying that there's some criminals that are so bad. Apparently, like our laws are not enough, right? Apparently, our laws are not enough. So some criminals are so bad that they can't be deported. Instead, they're going to have to be held in a black site in a concentration camp. So yeah, Guantanamo is a shithole from everyone I know, and the military has been there. The CIA will F them up and send them to destabilize their home country governments.
And that is when we all have to pounce. We have to help them become class conscious and explain to them that immigrants aren't their enemy. They never were. Billionaires are all of our common enemy. It is incumbent on all of us to get them to understand that they have more in common with every immigrant than a...
But don't they need that slave labor for places in the U.S.? I don't get it. Fascism is not really rational. And also to have like... It can't also be that brazen, right? Because like, you know, we can always get more criminals. We can always get more criminals to put in the private sector as legal slaves. So yeah, I mean, you know, didn't DeSantis work there as a torturer? The Trump administration bit off more than they could chew, in that there aren't enough private immigration prisons, human warehouses to even come close to handling the volume they want. I need to come up with something. That's what I'm kind of scared of, right? Because like, either they're going to have to like lie and pretend that they're doing all these wonderful numbers like you've never seen before. We're going to get them the hell out. You've never seen these streets more clear of brown people. Okay, no more brown people. Or the darker path is that you're right. They don't have the ability to house that many people, so they're going to have to take other alternative options to deal with them. So yeah, probably still ironing out the details. DeSantis was a JAG lawyer overseeing which torture was okay. ICE does have their own detention centers, but they filled those up on day 2. We're being so corrupt. Yep.
A single billionaire. And not all of them are going to be receptive to that message. But we have to at least try. And I think that our odds of success and getting them to understand that are going to increase if we start planting those seeds right now.
Yeah. So what we were talking about earlier, someone brought this up about Guantanamo. Yesterday, we talked about after the Trump administration signed the Riley-Laken Act or whatever, Trump started talking about using Guantanamo Bay to house presumably 30,000 migrants, which question mark? Like, just to be clear, like Guantanamo Bay isn't that big. 30,000 people is a lot. So I don't know how the logistics is going to work, but that's kind of like what's worrying, because knowing that they might not have the space or the ability to do this, what are they going to do with all those people, right? Like, the media should be asking this question every single day. Like, hey man, quick question. So you're saying you're building all these things. You're saying that we don't have enough space and we're going to build all this stuff. Real quick, what is going to happen, okay, once those places are filled up? Like, what is going to happen with the people after that? What are you going to do with those people? If they're concentrated, doesn't matter how big it is. Yeah, I guess if you stack them up like literally freaking like actual like concentration camps, like I'm not even like not even exaggerating, like Nazi concentration camps where you're not worried about how much space each person has, because well. Like they did here in NYC, probably tends to dirty laundry, and laundry room is out in the open with all the dog shit and stains and everything at this point.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000 person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it.
That right there is like literally like the fucking most ice cold line in this entire 30-second clip. Like that is the most ice cold line in the 30-second clip here, because like, oh, most people don't know about it. Yeah, you think? That's kind of the point. Hello, that's the problem. Okay, there's going to be no transparency. We're not going to freaking know. We're not going to freaking know what's going on there. We don't know. The public as a whole, we don't really have that much transparency. Like, we literally do not know what's going on at Gitmo other than like, okay, torture. Okay. This is black sites where jurisdiction is kind of dubious, and they're allowed to do stuff that normally they wouldn't be allowed to do in the homeland. And like, it's really, really, really freaking dark, man. It's really freaking dark, man. Alien Night Owl, welcome back. Apparently Trump connects Obama to the plane collision. In what world does it make sense? It doesn't, because it's actually, it's every accusation is just a confession. So like, well, let's just finish this. The Holocaust started as mass deportation. I don't remember who that quote is, but you get the point, right? Because like, yeah, that's exactly why, that's exactly why the press, okay, needs to be asking every single day, Guantanamo Bay isn't that big, so what are you going to do once these 30,000 beds are filled, right? Like, what are you going to do with those people? What are you going to do with those people? What are you going to do with those people? What are you going to do with those people? I mean, every day. Hello, I am Mike. Hey, consistent Mike. Not gonna lie, if it gets worse, I'd be willing to fight back. Let's just say I don't want to get you in trouble.
We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will. Today I'm also signing.
30,000 nothing. Even the liberal estimates put the number of visa overstays in the millions. Caution Slimy, welcome. Is Bay even sustainable anymore? To be held indefinitely? Right. That's the thing, SV Harkin. Like, that's exactly it. Like, these people, the press needs to be asking these questions every single day. Right? Like, what are you going to do with these people? If you say, that's a very good point. If you're saying that these people are so bad that A, they can't be deported to their home country, and B, they can't be here, so they have to be shipped out to Guantanamo Bay. What are you going to do with these people? Are they just going to stay there forever? That's right. It is like 1937. Yeah, the press won't ask. No, it doesn't seem like. It doesn't seem like it. This is all about setting a premise. Correct. Even Biden tossed reporters in jail. Exactly. This is all about setting the premise. The premise is that these are really, really bad people. So you really shouldn't really question it too much, okay? Like, we're talking about like child molesters and rapists and murders. So you don't really need to look into that, okay? And 30,000, are there 30,000 migrants who are child molesters and the worst of the worst that our laws apparently are not enough to get to deal with? Don't question that. You know what? It's just like you're gonna see them on TV, like the one or two they're gonna parade around, and that's it. Just don't look too much into it. Pretty soon it will be political prisoners. There, Obama should have shut it down. Yeah, I mean, like I think somebody made a comment about the Cuban government. I hope that the Cuban government just like I don't know if they can. But they should kick us out of there. They should kick us out of there. Manufacturing consent, correct. In 2 years, if they keep progressing, they'll eventually start shipping U.S. citizens to these places for all types of reasons. Correct. I mean, Trump has said so, right? Trump has said so. Like, Trump has said that he is open to the idea of deporting citizens as well if they're like horrible criminals or whatever, because they can't be in our country. I gotta leave before I get a migraine from this insanity. Understood. That's a provocation to get Cuba involved so U.S. can threaten them too. How do you balance helping people with making sure your own country can function? Well, you can do both. This is literally the wealthiest country on the planet. So yeah, there's enough. If the United States really wanted to help people and have a functioning country, we can do both. There's no reason why we can't. There's no reason why we can't. We could stop effing up other people's countries and creating mass immigration. Yep. It's not like we've ever had concentration camps before, besides that one time with the Japanese and the indigenous people. Yeah. Stop ruining Latin countries so they don't risk their lives to get here. Yep. Why do some of the richest countries take fewer migrants than struggling others? Question mark? Look, Yeah, I know. Like, usually these are bots. The people who are like, I don't know, it could be wrong, but sometimes you get these copy pasta bots putting Bible verses, and then like they'll leave. I'm not a bot. I'm asking. No. The person who posted like the copy pasta Bible verse, or maybe it's not a person. I don't know. I've seen those around. They come around different like streams, and they just like copy paste like Bible verses randomly. But yeah, I don't know about bots, but I'm like, okay, I think we got that. But anyways, it's exactly what a bot would say. All right, let's speed run through some of this. Let's speed run through some of this because I got to get out of here. Okay, Stark. Ah, I caught that reference. I gotta go, Kins. My pizza's here. Nice! Nice. Enjoy the pizza. Thank you. Thank you, Heat. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, let's speed run this through here. We just got a couple of articles. Revelations about a kingdom led by a psychopath comment who cannot be contained by the force of other nations, and only the return of the Christ-like empathy can stop the end of the world. Trump orders education, labor, and other departments to enhance school choice. Yes. President Trump today directed several government agencies to develop plans for redirecting federal funds in an effort to expand school choice. Parents want and deserve the best education for their children, but too many children do not thrive their assigned government-run K-12 school. Oh my God. So the answer, if you have an issue with the government-run K-12 school, is to have better resources for it. How do you feel about shawarma being the goat of all pita sandwiches? I'm gonna be honest, I haven't had one. I'm not even gonna lie. I haven't had one. Hey, good for Gabby. Thank you, YouTube chat. So yeah, I apologize. I don't. Thank you for the stream. Thank you for hanging out. I hate NPR. My conservative dad hears it. Well, sometimes they have good articles. How do you feel about falafel or any other pita-based food item? I mean, pitas are alright. I eat pita bread, but I'm sorry if my palate is not attuned to a lot of Middle Eastern food. But I do like pita bread, just as a baseline. I do like pita bread. Try it. Pita's the perfect bread, no lie. I mean, pita's good. Pita bread's good. Toast it. Good to go. He directed secretaries of labor and education to review. We definitely need YouTube members for chat. I can't do YouTube members. Not yet, anyways. Not yet. Once I get the number of subscribers, I think I need like 500 subscribers now, because they did a 2-tier system, one for 500 and one for 1,000 subscribers. And I think at the 500 you can get members. I think pita is the perfect bread. I imagine you can stuff and fold it. It's like a taco that doesn't rip. What's the link to the YouTube channel? It's there. Here, I got you. There you go. Thank you for the follow. All right, let's go. He directed the Secretary of Labor Education to review the discretionary grant program and submit plans to expand education freedom for American families and teachers. Trump ordered the Education Secretary within 60 days to issue guidance to states on how they can use federal funds to support school choice, i.e. private schools. The other also directs the Secretary of Defense, to submit a plan outlining, this is different, outlining the defense secretary to submit a plan outlining how Defense Department funds can be used to allow military families to send their children to schools of their choice. Among other things, the order called for greater school choice in the Bureau of Indian Education and for the Secretary of Health and Human Services to explore whether block grants for children and families can be redirected to expand educational choice. The nation's two largest teacher unions, the NAA and the American Federation of Teachers, condemned the executive action. Randy Weingarten, the president of the AFT, told NPR she is disappointed that Trump was calling for such a broad repurposing of discretionary funds from the government agencies toward private education, because that's literally what this is all about, man. It's one big heist. Yeah, it's funny. Funnel money into Christian schools and corporate-run charter schools that don't teach. Pita bread is mid. Nah, come on. Pita bread's all right. I like pita bread. It's a direct attack on all the parents and families and the kids who actually go to public schools. Ed Choice, a group that supports the expansion of school choice, celebrated this move. President Trump's executive order to prioritize and expand private schools using federal funding is a crucial step towards empowering our private institutions and giving more money to us. Empowering families and giving them greater control over their children's education. Yeah. Okay. In NYC, our charter schools are where people are with connections get their kids into schools that are better than public schools. The Senate has not yet scheduled a confirmation hearing for Trump's education secretary nominee. The wrestling mogul, Linda McMahon, the former WWE business executive, she expressed support for school choice earlier this month, which is why she is going to be there. So cool. It's a lottery that some parents have friends in City Hall to improve chances on. Phenomenal. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, folks. Let's see if I think this is pretty much almost everything I have a chance to go through. I think actually this is really important, so I'm gonna probably go and do this on Monday. So I'm going to copy this because I'm gonna have to go through this on Monday because I think that's actually pretty important things that are going to happen. And how the Trump administration is going to rob us all blind. Yeah, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Trump says the U.S. could soon put 25% of tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada, one of our biggest trade partners and neighbors to the north and south. The U.S. president on Thursday today said he would likely decide by the end of the day whether to put a 25% tariffs on imports of Mexican and Canadian oil that would take effect February 1st. We may or we may not. We're going to have to make that determination probably tonight. Trump has repeatedly warned Mexico and Canada, to the United States' top trading partners, that he will impose tariffs if the two countries do not end shipments of fentanyl and the flow of migrants across U.S. borders, ? The office of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is not immediately available for comment. Mexico's economy ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment. So, yeah, cool. Joseph Chamberlain, Part 2. Saudi Arabia taking over the Middle East, U.S. taking over North America, Thiel gets Greenland, their plans are coming together. This is so frustrating, folks, because we're just... we'll just be watching all this go down as Rome burns. Eggs will be $9 on Saturday. Okay, folks, we're gonna leave this for Monday, because this is important. It's important that we keep reiterating what this is all about, what President Trump is about, and that is instituting or pulling off the biggest heist. And that is stealing from the working class to give it to the wealthy. Sundry Clown Car, equally powerful regional power blocks, the U.S., Saudi Arabia, and Peter Thiel. Trump's policies will directly and indirectly kill millions of Americans. I can skip eggs to stop bird flu, which is 50% lethal in humans. Where are my cheap eggs, mofo? No cheap eggs. Just free, wealthy, just freebies for the ultra wealthy, at the cost of, important programs that would benefit poor people. The usual. But we will definitely go over that ProPublica article on Monday, because that's pretty important. So follow us, and we'll be back on Monday. I know many doctors say if there's another pandemic, they'll quit. Folks, it's time for me to get out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for all the new follows. And thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you, Tina, for the raid. I appreciate it. All of you guys that are here from the Tina raid, thank you guys for sticking here. And again, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. We're here Monday through Thursday around 5 p.m. Thank you. Hey, Sundry Clown Car, thank you. Can't believe I got tricked by the television trick candidate again. This is so frustrating. But yes, thank you. There was a smaller raid before Tina's. Was there? I'm sorry. I didn't see it on my whatchamacallit, activity feed. So I apologize if I missed it. Thank you. Mouselander, thank you. Good for Gabby, thank you. The YouTube crew, I appreciate it. Please, folks, if you have a second, shout out to Carpet Packs, and shout out to Tina. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you see a little diamond in chat, chances are there's some kind of content creator or streamer. So please consider checking out their channel. Please, we're all in this together. So please consider showing some support. So we're all in this together, and we're all just kind of being subjected to this together. So even if you're just here to hang out, thank you. Okay, because it really does mean a lot now more than ever. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you, Michael Hassler, and thank you, Heat, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. Folks, if you want to support the channel directly, keep liking the stream, folks, and keep subscribing on the YouTube. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Keep following us here. Subscribe to the Substack. It's completely free. Join the Discord, folks, and if you want to support the channel directly, please consider checking out the merch store and hitting that exclamation mark tip. That's perfect ways of supporting the channel directly. Thank you, guys. We'll be back on Monday. Spread the word far and wide. We're one of the chillest places to be. Again, consider checking out some of the diamonds in chat for content as well, or streams. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you all. We'll be back on Monday. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. Viana, I hope to see you guys in the next one, Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See ya! Ground level news, thank you. Hang tight, folks. All right, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.